Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to meet you. Today I'm going to be sharing how I saved my first $100,000 in my 20s. No BS, no get rich quick nonsense, just what worked for me. If you're a young buck in your 20s, this video is for you. Now without out of the way, let's get into it. So the first and most important factor I'll say is that I stayed with my parents for as long as is physically comfortable, or as long as most people will be willing to admit. I know it's not always fun, and there's a bit of pride that you're going to have to swallow, and as much as we love our parents, we don't want to kind of be around them for longer than we need to. Rent is easily the biggest expense you're probably going to have if you're in your early to mid 20s. But for me, living at home, I was able to save about an extra $1,500 a month that I could then deploy towards purchasing assets that would make me more money instead of paying rent or other house BS that you're going to have to deal with later on in life. Now, this tip's only going to work if you're able to deploy your assets towards your goals. Make sure that you're using this opportunity to build your future and not just kind of coast around, just kind of lollygag and not get anywhere in life. I made sure to contribute around the house, cover some bills and respect the space that my parents provided for me. So it wasn't necessarily a free ride, but if you are blessed to have that opportunity in your life, I say go for it. Now, the second thing I did was I invested through my tax-free savings account, which is the tax advantage account that we have here in Canada. It's hands down one of the best tools we have here in Canada. I wasn't just saving money in a regular banking account. I was purchasing ETFs and index funds through my TFSA, and then also being blessed and being smart. The great thing about the TFSA is that every dollar that you put into it doesn't get taxed at all at any point in the future. Not even when you withdraw it, which is really big for the long term. Even if I was only able to contribute about a couple $100, maybe $300 at a time, I was able to be consistent with it, and then that eventually led to that snowball forming over time. I automated transfers into it monthly, and I did not withdraw from it at all at any single point, no matter how bad the markets got. Next, I did not spend any money on weed or alcohol at all. I'm not saying you gotta be super straight edge. I'm not saying you got to avoid taking your girl out for fun dates every now and then or something like that. But I've seen how easy it is to spend $100 a weekend on drinks. Amen. And weed, that adds up too, especially if it's a daily or weekly habit. That's going to be compounding a lot over time. So cutting all that stuff out, or at least cutting way back compared to where you would have been at the start, that could save you easily a couple $100 a month. Plus, it'll help you stay clear-headed and focused on your goals. Next, I did not fall into the Uber Eats, DoorDash, or Skip the Dishes trap that we've all fallen for at some point in our lives. Delivery is convenient, but that delivery costs you. A $12 meal can easily become a $28 meal after fees, tips, and delivery. I cooked most of my meals, and then once you kind of get used to it, it's honestly not too hard. And you want to make sure that you're meal prepping, you're keeping things simple, and remind yourself that you'd rather have freedom later than fries right now. It adds up way faster than you think. This next one's simple but powerful. You want to make sure that you're living below your means and you're tracking every single one of your expenses. So that means knowing where every single dollar is going both in and out of your account. So I'm not saying that you gotta be super lame with this. I'm not saying you gotta make your own coffee at home, or that you need to always buy the cheapest clothes possible or the cheapest ingredients possible whenever you're going shopping. I'm just talking more so no flashy cars for now, no flashy houses for now, no flashy dates, no bottle service at the clubs. Don't be one of those guys that just does a bunch of bottle service that eventually ends up going nowhere anyway. Just more so focus on buying things that you yourself would be happy with and not trying to impress others. A lot of people make really good money, upwards of the high six figures, low seven figures a lot, but they always end up living paycheck to paycheck because they're upgrading their lifestyle way faster than they're upgrading their paychecks. I also didn't rely on just one income stream. I picked up a lot of small gigs here and there. So whether that's helping people move some stuff in and out of their house, flipping some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, tutoring here and there, of course, providing some mentorship. Just all that stuff is going to add up over time, but you got to be diligent with it. You got to keep pushing and trying to push for those opportunities as often as you can. Every dollar you make is one less dollar you're going to stress about later in your life. So now the last and most underrated tip in my opinion when it comes to this whole thing is taking advantage of free fun. So what does this mean in particular? I live in Alberta, so I'm very blessed to be really close to the mountains. I've also been blessed with a friend group that has a lot of people who are into things like bouldering, national parks, camping, So instead of dropping money on parties, weekend getaways, or some really crazy vacations, I'd go hiking. I'd explore a national park. I'd go check out a campground that might be nearby or something like that. Hit up Banff, hit up Canmore, Kananaskis. All of these things are either free or really close to it. Nature doesn't really charge you a cover fee, and I always came back feeling really recharged and ready to put my mind towards my goals. So that's how I saved my first 100K in my 20s. This type of thing doesn't happen overnight, and it's definitely not easy, but it's 100% possible if you make small decisions that add up over time.